think of anything else I can say about the work. Any questions?
You said something about the flower history.
Oh, the flowers. These are an Australian flower called a white waratah. And again, I knew there would be something in the palm, and I actually painted something else in there. I think I painted a shell, a nautilus shell in there first, but it just didn't feel right, so I painted it out. And that's also something that all the mistakes that go into these paintings, the layers and layers, are necessary for the piece. They're not actually mistakes. That it's not like, oh, you know, I repaired the piece and so now it's right, or I finally got the right flower on here and so now it's right. It's also not that I have to go through and work it out, and that I had to walk this particular path and go through those mistakes to get here. It's that the mistakes are this. The mistakes are the finished painting. Just like the mistakes in your life, they are the beautiful part. They're not what got you to the beautiful part. They are it. And the white waratah is a flower that is usually red, actually, and only a few of them are white. And this is another interesting aspect, is like I knew I wanted an Australian flower, so I'll look through the internet of images, and I'll look through hundreds and hundreds of images, and it'll be like when I was a kid and they had Christmas lights that you would have to plug in and check every year because if only one bulb was out, the whole bulb was dead, you know. So we'd plug them in and, nothing, plug it in and yes, so, it was like that. I'd look at an image, no, yes, an electrical current would be running through my body, and I like that. It's so fun about the internet and the images on Google that you can go through. And it's that same kind of recognition that yes, 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 and coming to trust that current inside your own body that's saying yes to something. So, and that turns out there's a story about these waratahs that they're the only flower that the Aboriginals ever painted in their petroglyphs. Is this flower? I didn't know that when I painted it on here, but it was kind of again, it's like it's a kind of confirmation. And the way all of the mistakes are underneath it and part of it and are it. I was thinking about this last night, that the workshop that I'd gone to with Naomi Shihab Nye, she told me this great story about how she'd been working on a novel for 5 years, working really hard on it, and she'd only written 64 pages, so you can tell how hard she'd been working. It was a real struggle to get those 64 pages. And she woke up one morning and she looked out the window and she knew that the novel began on page 65. And I asked her, well, how did that feel, the 5 years? And she said, it was marvelous. She said, I felt so free. And I just started writing. And she said, but the first 64 pages were in the novel. They were there. They were invisible, but they were there. Just like the layers in the painting are invisible, but they're there.